Hello and welcome fans and friends, my name is 8-Bit Ben, and today I want to introduce to you the two main Nintendo Switch Pro controller options. Now in this video we're actually going to do a sort of budget versus premium comparison, and I'm going to tell you which one is better for what situation you're actually in. So of course here we have the premium option, which is the Nintendo Switch Pro controller by Nintendo themselves. Now this controller is about twice the price of the one I actually have here, or maybe it's actually 3 times as expensive, and I have to say you get what you actually pay for when it comes to this controller. You have all the features that you have of the Joy-Cons, including the NFC reader, you have the motion sensors, and you have the HD rumble, and all the buttons feel really well placed, really good size, and it just kind of fits into your hand just somewhat really perfectly. And you have all these other buttons here as well, such as the picture capture button, the select and start, and you have the home button here. And with this controller you can actually turn on the Nintendo Switch, unlike the budget controller. And here we have the budget controller by Hori. It's actually called the Hori Pro controller, I believe. I will look it up later and obviously put a link to it or something. But this controller here is made by a company called Hori, who have worked with game companies for decades now. And usually they would either get the parts or work very closely with the creator of the console. And so you kind of end up with this really sort of high quality yet a lot less expensive controller. You may notice is this weird D-pad here can actually be popped off. And you have these 4 separate buttons like on the Joy-Con controller. Now personally I really don't prefer this until maybe they start using these for item buttons. I really don't prefer this as a D-pad. But you can pop that back on, or you can actually put it on the back here and keep it somewhere safe, obviously. And you can pop that back on. Of course, this won't actually go on the real Joy-Cons themselves. And this controller actually feels very, very comfortable. The shoulder buttons here are not as flat as the Pro controller, the official one. And it's actually a little bit harder to reach for the top shoulder buttons than it is on the official one. The sticks themselves feel a little bit more cheap than the official controller, but they are just as precise as the official controller, and they're more concave, I believe is what you call them, than the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which is more convex. It's a pretty interesting controller overall. You also have a turbo function, which can be easily used by holding this in and pressing a button, and it can also do different button speeds, and that's something that the official Nintendo Switch Pro controller can't do. And all the buttons are very easily accessible, but my only main problem with this controller really is actually the fact that if you look kind of closely, the buttons are kind of contoured to the shape of the controller, so this button feels a little bit at an angle. I don't know why they chose to do that with this controller, as most of the other buttons here are actually quite flat and feel quite good. The official Nintendo Switch Pro controller didn't do anything like that, and also the D-pad in this controller does feel a lot better than the Hori one. So it's really kind of up to you what you prefer, and if you have a bunch of friends you may want to go for the other controller because it's a lot cheaper. But if you need all the features that are in the Joy-Cons, then you need to get this option. It's worth the investment, trust me. This controller is like 2 times more comfortable than the other one is. Plus it actually looks really nice and fancy, and you get what you actually pay for both of those controllers, and I do somewhat highly recommend both of them. But if you need to get one, get this one, and if you have a bunch of people, get the other one. And if you guys haven't come across this channel before, and you enjoyed this video and you liked my opinion, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, but only do that if you want to.